Yeah. Let's get it.
Friends, it's your Jesse Ray.
On top.
What it do, what it did, what it does. It's your boy, Sports Talker Ride Dog, the OG. We're here with another episode 5. We got two Dallas coaches of the Stampede. We official, man. We brought Coach Reason back, man, and we got the president, the CEO, Mr. Coach Willie Drew, man. Happy to see y'all guys this week. How's everybody going this week, man?
I'm doing great.
Oh man, we so blessed to be here with you guys, man. I've been looking forward to this for a minute since Ty first reached out to me, man. I was like, when is it gonna happen, man? When is it gonna happen? And here we are.
Yes,
So,
sir. Yes, sir.
I'm excited, bro.
Say, man, I'm happy that we got somebody excited to get on the show, man. That means we doing something good. And before I get to run in my mouth, what it did, what it do, what it does.
Oh, man.
Sports Talker Ride Dog, the OG. We in here, baby.
Go hit the bell on the YouTube, Sports Talker Ride Dog, the OG, man. Go like, comment, you know what I'm saying? Get in the chat, man. Talk back. You know what I'm saying? We here, man. You can go follow me on Facebook, Rodney Sports Talker Ride Dog. You can follow me on IG, Sports Talker Ride Dog, the OG. And you can find me on TikTok, RawDog245, man. We live, man. You don't want to miss, man. You hit the bell, you get full access to my content, live content, whatever, man. I'm telling you, you want to be a part of this movement.
Hey, man, again, I'm gonna pick it back off my guy, man. Hit that bell, man. YouTube, Sports Talker Ride Dog, the OG. Man, tap in, bro. Hey, say, it's a movement, it's a platform, it's informational. You can get in with me on Snap, Tyler Dunn 02, Facebook, Tyrone Alexander. Let's get it, let's go.
Man, Coach Drew, man, talk to me. How was it for you as a childhood, man? Your childhood, what brought you to want to even help the youth, man? As a youth, who inspired you as a youth for you to be able to get to be the program that you're developing now?
I'm gonna tell you, it was all by chance. My kids actually got into sports, which pulled me into coaching. But I started out, playing football, basketball, baseball, and running track for the Pleasant Grove Trojans organization.
Oh, you went to Pleasant Grove?
Pleasant Grove, man.
Greedy Grove.
The Greedy Grove. Before they even called it the Greedy Grove, But the Pleasant Grove Trojans, man, that was my foundation coach, Carl Richardson. He was like a father to me. I grew up in a single parent household. It was just me and my little sister. She's a year behind me. And so I didn't really have a man in the house. And my coaches, they were all that to me, which was definitely an inspiration to, what me and this man over here at Raymond Reason, what we were able to put together and accomplish a little less than 25 years ago. When as I came up, my mom, she was a teacher, she was a educator, and she sort of prepared us for a lot of the things that we would face moving on, and later on, just to kind of skim through that childhood, because it's not the greatest memory, but it ain't the worst. I mean, we didn't know we was poor, you know what I'm saying? We had everything we needed. We had a TV, we had color TV, we had a microwave oven. We felt like we had it all.
Lights didn't go out, did it?
Nah, we had lights on and everything. We had the video games, Atari, and all of that. So we felt like we were hood rich.
Yeah.
But talk about it.
But what happened was my mom, she when we was young, she stopped teaching and she went to work at the post office. And when they say going postal,
yeah,
it's real. When I turned 14, going into my freshman year in high school, she had a nervous breakdown, and she couldn't work. We was on a fixed income, and me and my sister went to work. We had to lie about our age. We went to work. We paid the bills. We paid the car note. We were driving. We got back then you can get a hardship license. You know what I'm saying? And so we was grinding, at a young age, because my mama taught us, those principles. And Came home from work one day. Came home from school one day. My freshman year, I played varsity baseball. By the way, my freshman year, baseball was my best sport.
What
Uh,
position you played?
I was center field. I was
Center
center
field.
field and first base. Uh,
Okay, okay.
but I could fly. I mean, I not
Yeah,
took my own horn.
you play center field. You got to be able to cover some ground.
That's right. That's right.
It's Grove like was it a 4A back then? Or,
It was. Spruce High School was 4A. 5A was the highest level, and we were 4A. Yes, sir.
and you was a
But
freshman playing on varsity. That's top of the line.
oh yeah, oh yeah. It was hard. It was hard earned because growing up, I was a beast on that baseball diamond. They used to say Drew strong as a bull. That's what Coach Richardson used to always say. And me and Raymond, we had a mutual friend who played baseball as well, but he didn't play with us. He would go all the way down to Kilgore and play baseball. He played baseball with Raymond. Y'all probably know him. He's a musician by the name of Chocolate Ty. Y'all heard of him?
Yeah, I heard of Chocolate Top.
Chocolate Ty. He's out. Him and his family is out of Kilgore, Texas. Samples. Tyrone Samples is his real name.
Mm-hmm.
But he's got a big hit record out right now called Hater. If you know me, act like you know me.
Yeah,
Okay, man.
yeah.
If you a hater, stay the hell away from me.
Talk about it then.
But I got that boy started singing, because once upon a time, like I said, I'm skipping forward here. Ty, like I said, he used to always tell me, I'm going down to Kilgore to play baseball. And I thought he was capping. But sure enough, once me and Raymond met years later, all of that came to fruition. Now, Ty and Andre, like, yeah, they're my boys, Anyway, long story short, my freshman year in high school, I come home from school one day, second semester, and my front door is wide open. Come in the house, mom ain't there. Went into her bedroom, looked around, wasn't no sign of foul play or nothing, but all her luggage was gone. She had left our butts. She had left us.
Your mom.
Yeah. I was in the 9th grade. My sister was in the 8th grade. And
Can I ask you before you get too deep in the story? What made your mama, go if you want to talk about it?
Yeah. It's easy to talk about.
Yeah.
It was a situation where, like I said, we was working, we was paying all the bills, and I'm gonna be honest. She basically wrote us a letter about a month later, letting us know she was all right. She had moved to Atlanta. She was working in in hospitality of a hotel in the hospitality industry. She was a housekeeper or whatever in a hotel in Atlanta, and she said, "I refuse to live in a household where my kids don't listen to me." And because we were hell. I ain't gonna lie, we were hell. We was.
Hey man, don't mean to cut you off, but shit,
Yeah.
at 14, 15, 13, and 12, shit, it's hard not to be 12 when you paying bills and shit.
Yeah.
You
I
know,
mean,
you-
we
it's going
driving,
almost
we
tough.
driving to work, we paying the bills, and like I said, she had some mental things going on, and she couldn't work. So she said she refused to be under a roof with kids who ain't gonna listen. But the one thing I say about my mama, she prepared us for that. She prepared us. We didn't want to let we didn't want to let our teachers know, because we was afraid they might split us up, send awards to the state or something like that. So we kept working, kept paying bills, but it was just us. So needless to say, you got girls at the house, you know what I'm saying? My sister, by the time she got to high school, she hanging out with her boyfriend or whatever, you know what I'm saying? She was
So the state never came in on y'all or nothing?
Nah, it never came in because I
And
had
man,
my
times was different back then too.
Exactly,
You gotta think
Well-
you gotta think you probably talking early 80s. You
We-
probably
we-
talking
we-
early
we-
80s, man.
we
Late
talking-
70s, bro.
I graduated in
Like, times
85.
was different, bro.
I graduated 85. We talking early 80s. You are on point.
Hey, say, man, I remember, not because my mama raised me well. Everything I ever did, was on me or whatever.
Yeah.
But man, I remember times growing up, man. My big brother 4 years older than me. Shit, mama got to work, baby.
Gotta go. Yeah, exactly.
Mama got to
mean,
work. Hey, say, baby, don't open up that door with some food over there.
Dude,
Hey, say you at the house by yourself.
dude, when we was
You can't
little,
do kids like that now, though.
when we was like 7, 8 years old, man, we on our bicycles, man. We all over Dallas. We from Pleasant Grove all the way in Oak Cliff, man. Nobody checking on us. Where they at? Who they at? As long as we were home for that sun went down,
Sun up, sun
we were
down.
good. You know?
For real.
So anyway, like I said, not to bog everything down. Um, you know, we lived in an apartment complex called Pleasant Village Apartments. And it's so many of my friends that I have to this day that I met right back there in those apartments. So when they say it takes a village, that's what it was. Because everybody in the complex knew our situation.
Okay.
So we would have dinner at these people house on Monday, these people house on Tuesday. You know what I'm saying? And it was
Right.
just it,
Come on over here, baby. Some food over here for you.
But y'all,
exactly.
but y'all was the party house.
We was the party house, man. We had the video games, man. I started DJing
Nah, for real.
when I turned 15. I started DJing, and so I had to set up, and we'd have all the people at the crib, the girls, and like I said, that's what derailed my sports career because I was really good in sports, but I was distracted. My coaches were like, "What's wrong with you, man? What's wrong with you?" I'm like, "I'm sorry, you know, I ain't gonna be able to stay with this because I got to get a job. I got to get another job. I worked 2 jobs my junior and senior year because I had a child. And by the time I graduated, I had 2 because there was no supervision. We was just wilding. You know, my sister had moved out and moved in with her boyfriend, and it was just me in a 3-bedroom apartment in Pleasant Grove.
But you got to salute yourself, man. You graduated high school with no discipline. You did what you want.
And
Some people would.
I still earned the academic scholarship. And I went to UTA on an academic scholarship, walked on to the football program, and made the team as a backup tailback as a freshman. And that was the last year of football at the University of Texas at Arlington. They canceled football after that football season, man.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to they were saying, well, hey, maybe you can try to go somewhere else. I was like, you know what? I was making a lot of money in college DJing parties. You know, I was DJ Willie Fresh. I was on KNON radio, which was community radio back then. And I had made a little bit of a name for myself. I was DJing at a club that I wasn't even old enough to get into called Lady Pearl over in South Dallas. Those old school.
Okay, South Dallas.
Yeah, right,
South Dallas.
right there, Fair Park, man. And it was like a after hour club. We didn't open till 10 p.m. and we closed at 6 in the morning.
Yeah.
Dude, there was some of the greatest times of my life, you know, because it was just a great experience.
So I hear you say them was some of the greatest times of your life.
Yeah.
So would you trade that? Would you trade that for the Stampede? Would you if you could go back and do it all?
Mm-hmm.
Would you be a DJ, or would you be DJ Willie Fresh, or would you be Coach Willie Drew?
I'm gonna tell you, I would.
You say them the best times of your life.
Best times of my life. I wouldn't change a thing only because of how the residual effect. Those experiences kind of instill some things into me that still live with me today that I was able to pass on, and I'll explain it to you because
You still DJ though.
I still DJ. Yeah, I got a gig Friday and I got a gig Friday night and Saturday night this week. And I got a couple of elementary schools I got to handle. So I specialize.
DJ Willie Fresh, y'all tap in with my guy.
Yeah.
Tap in all day long.
He also
And by the way, that's at DJ Willie Fresh with 2 S's in Fresh. At DJ Willie Fresh on TikTok, at DJ Willie Fresh on Instagram, and just your boy Willie Drew on Facebook. Holla at me.
You travel too?
Oh yeah. I've done parties in Kilgore. I've done parties in Shreveport, Little Rock. Just over the years, man, we used to I produced. I had a record label called FRP Records back when I was 19 years old. We had there was a pretty big hit song called Yellow Hammer. I don't know if y'all ever heard Yellow Hammer. Yeah.
Say, man, you know, we about a decade apart, man. Stop
Yeah,
playing
yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
Stop playing
But
like that, man.
I don't know if I don't think they there no more. But Mike's Record Shop in Longview used to be a main stop of ours, man. We used to sell so many records out of that shop, man. That dude used to push our product. You know, he was dope. But anyway, the fast forward, I got to, you know, when my kids got a little older, my daughter, LaShawn, she was she was really fast. So we wanted to get her into a track program. So we took her to Mesquite Friendship Baptist Church. They were the Striders track program, summer track program, right? And I want to say she was like sixth grade by then. And so got her involved. And my son, Ladarius, he was about 7 years old back then. Got him running track. But it's impossible to just stand there while you watching, you know, the kids getting taught and you feel like you can provide input. So I stepped up and I say, Coach Gary Dawson, his son, Sky Dawson, played NFL ball, all of that. Came out of Poteet High School. I say, Coach, hey man, can I offer a few pointers here, you know? And he's like, oh man, if you want to, come coach, man. I said, well, I said, I'm a football coach, you know. I'm not necessarily a track coach. I'm a football coach, you know. And he said, hey man, but if you know how to work with youth, that's all it really takes, man. And I said, you know what? I give it a shot. So I coached my son's level, which is 8U that year, and took a little ragtag group of kids, man, and we went to state. We got second at state with that group, which wasn't expected to do nothing, you know. And then he moved up to the 9 and 10-year-old level, and he was like, Dad, I want to play football. And I was like, you do? He was like, yeah, I want to play football. And I was excited because I had promised my wife that I wouldn't force him into the sport because I have an older son. I have a 39-year-old. Like I said,
Okay.
he came along when I was in high school, and I kind of pushed him. You know, I kind of pushed him. I didn't coach him, but I pushed him, and he was a beast. It's just that it kind of messed with him. You know what I'm saying? Kind of.
You pushed him away from the game.
I didn't push him away. I pushed him deeper into it, but he kind of fell in love with the attention and the adoration he was getting from the girls and the staff. You know.
Say three. You remember that?
Huh?
Definitely me.
Hey, we just talked about that last
That's
episode. That
definitely was.
magazine, man. They put you in that magazine.
I wasn't doing it for I was doing it for the girls, man. I wasn't doing it for
Hey,
Hey, come on, man.
and he just got punch drunk off of it and started doing dumb stuff off the field that cost him to not be able to get on the field no more.
Man, I don't mean to cut you short, Coach, man, but I want to dive into this program, man, because
that's what I'm about to tell you.
A few weeks ago, man, we interviewed a guy that's about to join y'all program. Shout out to W. Washington, Texas, Tracy Moe, a legend now. Y'all interviewed him. I mean, y'all hired him, or he's a coach in y'all organization.
Coach Moore out of Wascom. Yeah.
Yeah. How do y'all go about y'all hiring process? Or can I apply?
Of course.
Come on.
Of course. I'm gonna tell you this. One of our main sources, resources for finding coaches is right there on the sidelines. A lot. Not all parents are capable of coaching, because they got some of them got tunnel vision, but a lot of times you find diamonds in the rough. Just like myself, I was a parent first who transitioned into coaching. But that's why I was going to explain to you that while we were with Friendship Baptist, I met this dude right here. He was with the Mesquite Mercury. Oh no, what was it? Mesquite. Was it the Mercury?
It was the Mercury.
And they represented the city of Mesquite Parks and Recreation.
Red team.
Yeah. And my head coach was like, hey man, who that dude you be talking to, man? What's his name? I said, oh, that's Ray Ray. Because that's what we knew him as, is Ray Ray. And it was like, hey man, his kids they real good. See if you can recruit them to come over here. So that's what I was getting in his ear, and I would be like, hey, Raymond, say, man, won't you come over here with us, man? And he was like, man, I'll let him tell you what his response was. What was your response when I was recruiting you?
It was basically, man, y'all don't do relays like that. That was my main, well, that was my reason telling them. But the bottom line is not bragging. They didn't have anything over there that could beat my sons, man. My son, Rashawn, the one who came in there, he's the fastest kid in the nation, just not in Dallas, just not in the state of Texas. We talking about the whole United States of America. He was the fastest one in his age group. And it was like,
No cap.
no cap. And it was like, what y'all got to offer me? You know, I'm coming over there to help y'all get some kids with a relay. So, I mean, it was a lot of teams that was after me. But like I said, when Willie was the one who would come to me, you know, with the most, you know, sincere, you know, and everything. I was working a job, man. I'm telling you this before I let Willie get back on. I was working a job, and it was a supervisor at that job, went to Friendship Baptist. And they had tried to basically call me in the office, basically tried to stiff on me and bring my kid. It was either you bring your kid over here or you might be looking for another job. So
Boy, that's crazy.
yeah, man. I mean, that's how
Boy.
Little League sports is getting. It was 20 years ago. So
Yeah,
that's how Little League sports, you know.
way more than 20. That was
Yeah,
about
yeah,
20.
yeah, yeah, it's about that. So yeah,
I want to say that was
Hey,
99 by 2000, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
By 2000.
three, you hear that, man?
It was
That
about
crazy.
2001. 2001. Yeah.
That's
Hey,
crazy.
not making this up.
They called me in the job talking about, hey, say, man, you keep this job, man.
Yeah, hey, and that's exactly what I did was I told my supervisor, because this dude wasn't a supervisor. He wasn't my supervisor. He was a supervisor in a department. Then he got him off of me. But I'm like, man, you know, this is crazy because, like Willie said, they had a big team, man. Not only them, everybody in the Dallas-Fort Worth area was shooting, you know, at my son and everything. But me and Willie, go ahead, Willie, and finish.
You see, me and my wife, we had an issue with the team because they used to sit under this big tent in the stands. The whole team would sit under that tent. We couldn't do that. We had to get out and mingle and mix and just get to know people, network a little bit, you know. And I would always find this dude because he would just be talking about East Texas sports. That's all. I mean, he was consumed with in East Texas, nigga, we do this and we do that. And Booster Club run this. And boy, you can't come back to town if you ain't winning. You know what I'm saying? And he was educating me on
That's real. That's real, though.
Yeah, he was educating me on that. And I always got a lot of joy in that type of conversation. So what a couple years in, you know, he said, nah, we can't do it. So we just was cool. But then me and my wife, we decided we want to start our own team because we didn't like the conflict of interest that there was with the church. Because it's like one kid might be on the relay because his daddy was a deacon in the church. You know, it's a conflict.
Man, yeah.
Let me stop you right there.
Go ahead.
Break this day down. How this came, your thought process came in your head. I want to know your thinking on starting my own team organization. Please tell me how you came. What the day you drunk? What coffee you drunk? What thought process?
And before you get
into
it, this is informational. So
information.
You guys that's out there running AAU programs, want to build an AAU program, or want to build any kind of travel program, hit that bell, man. We giving out real life info.
This is real talk. I used to go online, and there was what was the name of that website, Raymond? They used to list the top track stars in the nation.
EliteYouth.com.
EliteYouth.com. I used to go on there and compare the times because I was told by the head coach that because we ran in what was called TAF. And I used to ask, why don't we run AAU or USA Track and Field? He said, oh man, we can't compete with them. I was like, dude, I'm looking up the times right now. My daughter is like top 3 in the nation here. Ain't none of these women, because she was winning state championships in TAF, but we couldn't run in AAU or USA because the coach was
Y'all
scared.
wasn't national. Y'all was just state.
We were state,
Right.
yeah.
That's
It's
right.
just state.
Y'all was national. Y'all was state.
Right.
Exactly. Just like Raymond's team, they was state. So that's how we would match up with each other every year. But I wanted to take my kids to bigger,
another
better
level.
competition. Cause I'm looking at the times and you know, and like I said, my daughters, they relay will be like top 5 in the nation. I'm like, we can compete, y'all. But they didn't hear it. So me and my wife, we said, yeah, we want to start our own track program. But we really was trying to find somebody else to loke up with, basically. So just the two of us, me and my wife, and we when my son decided he wanted to play football, I said, what made you change your mind and decide you want to play football now? Because I had already coached a year in the Mesquite League, and he didn't play that year. And he said, well, we played flag football at school in PE, Dad, and everybody want me on my team because can't nobody catch me. I was like, already. So what happened? He played one year with the Tigers organization, but then that next year I get a call from one of my partners from the old Pleasant Village apartments that we grew up in. His name was George Green, and he said, "Hey man, bring your baby over here, bring him home. Don't you live in this community?" I said, "I live in that part of Mesquite, but my son got the out of district spot for the team we was with. You know, you get one out of that one special kid that don't live in that district. My son got
Right.
that spot,
Some whack.
but he could go back to that team because that was the school that he belonged to in the community. And he was like, bring your baby home, man. Bring him. You know, you live right around the corner. How come you don't play over here? I say, really? Because I didn't know you was the president over there. Plus, I also, that team ain't that good. Y'all was 0 for 10 last year. And he was like, yeah, he said, I know, man, but that's why I want you to bring your baby over here, man. So we can do it. I said, well, who you got coaching over there? He said, man, I got this cat, named Otis, young cat. He was like 19 at the time. And I got this other cat named Ray, man. And I said, Ray, is that the one that coached track with Mesquite? He was like, yeah. I said, okay, I like that cat. And so we decided, I went to talk to my son. I said, you want to go play with your friends instead of playing over here with you? He was like, yeah, Dad, I want to go play with my friends. So that's where we first coached together. Me and this dude showed up. Raymond was giving me the history on that organization. Yeah, man, this they ain't never won nothing, man. They terrible. But the team that his son was on was the 8U. His son Rashawn. They was predicted to win it all, to win the city championship, and
Right.
they did. They won the whole city championship. But me and Raymond was on the 9 and 10-year level with Alex, his oldest son, and my son. Well, I ran the offense. That was my job, and I made against George Green's wishes. He was the head coach. He wanted another kid named Jamel Pullins to be the quarterback because his dad was a big time East Texas athlete. Raymond, can you tell him a little bit about
Jimmy Pullins and John Tyler, class of '88. He signed with the Braves. He was all state in baseball, track, and football. He had a TCU scholarship, but he signed with.
What he was a quarterback?
Yes,
quarterback.
His son.
Yeah. Yes,
His son
was quarterback.
Was quarterback, but what it was I didn't believe in pitching the ball because my son was still fairly new to the game a little bit. That was his second year, right? And he had a hard time catching the pitch if it wasn't like right to him. If it was a little up here or a little low here, that ball gonna get to skipping by him. So I like to run the stretch, So I needed a quarterback that's gonna be mobile enough to meet him out at the corner, and so he can get that
Right. So he can get the cone.
Yeah.
Exactly, and that's where Alex came in at. And I said, I need Alex to be my quarterback. And George wasn't really a fan of that. He was like, Jamel should be your man. I said, no, Alex is gonna be my man because I know what he can do on that track, and I know what he can do for my team. Because if the defense start biting on that stretch to my son, guess what Alex would do?
Go around it other way.
Yeah, he bullied.
Bootleg. It work every time. Am I lying, Raymond? It
Correct.
work
And
every
and,
time.
you can throw off the run.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exact. And he could throw that ball too. And
And
so
so,
so
so
that
that
team
team,
that was 0-10 the year before when they was 8, now they 9-10. And we were contenders that year. My son scored like 35 touchdowns that year. Alex scored like 12, a dozen touchdowns, threw 3 touchdown passes on 9 and 10-year-old. And what Raymond kept saying is, this is the first time that we went through a whole season without getting shut out with this team.
Yeah.
First
So
time that
so
and
so
and
y'all interaction in that section made y'all well you and your wife thoughts and that interaction that 1 year with y'all coaching and you and your wife thoughts made y'all build this program.
exactly. That's when I came to Raymond. I said, Raymond, say man, we want to start our own track program, man. We want to start this year. After that football season together, we want to start it. And he was like, okay, what we gonna call it? Well, we were with the Mesquite Longhorns, so we're gonna call it the Longhorn Track Program. And but then I had thought about it, and I told Raymond. I woke up one morning. I said, hey man, let's call it the Stampede. And he was like, I like that. We became the Stampede, and it kind of originated from the Calgary Stampeders in the Canadian Football League.
Right.
And and the one thing Raymond was like, hey, so you're gonna be the head coach, and then I'll assist you. And I'm like, no, no. I said, dude, your track knowledge runs circles around my track knowledge. I'll be the president of the org. You'll be my VP, but you'll also be the head track coach. I head up football, you head up track. And he was like, really, dog? And I was like, hell yeah, man. Because I believed in this man. Because he had the knowledge. Effective leadership, y'all, and I want everybody to pay attention.
So
Don't
what's the
mean you
startup? What's the
don't mean you
startup?
it don't mean you got to be the boss of everything, y'all.
Right.
You put people in place that know what they're doing to get the most out of your program.
Right.
And at the time, Raymond was not necessarily given the proper respect, I'm gonna say. He had a few haters. You know what I'm saying? Mainly because he was his kid's biggest cheerleader, and his kids would go out there and knock your block off. You know what I'm saying? And because he was like, yeah, he'll be like, yeah, good hit, son. And look at him. They thought he was cruel. Raymond, tell him, man. They didn't respect your stilo, man.
Nah, it's the East Texas, y'all boys from East Texas. You know how it is. It
Uh,
ain't deal about
hey, say,
making, it ain't deal about
We,
making no
hey,
say,
making
come,
friends
come,
with.
come on, come on, man. You know a country boy. Hey, man, you know a country boy how we rock, man. But three,
You know, when we hit them and knocked them down, we kind of stood over them for a little while, and let them know
you
who it
got
was that
to,
hit them.
you got to.
You
And
know,
so
Three, what you was getting into, baby?
so what's the startup cost of building your own program, and how
well,
you
well,
go and do that?
well, we were actually told that you got to have about 20,000 in the bank to start a football program, right? Because we actually started football the year after we started track. We had track first as that first year, and then we morphed into football. We didn't have really any money, any startup money at all. We actually went in our pocketbooks. Me and my wife, we sacrificed a couple of mortgage payments. I wouldn't recommend that to anybody. Anybody. We man, we Raymond to tell you, man, there was times we had to pay referee fees, we had to pay league costs, and our lights got cut off. Real talk. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not saying this is for the faint of heart. But I worked in IT, so I made good money. My wife worked in the legal field, so she made good money. So we were in a great position, but we financed it out of our pocket to start. And like I said, I would never advise anybody to ever go that route. The best way to get it started is to do like get your core group of people together, and then start doing fundraisers. Apply for your nonprofit, affiliation through irs.gov. But the first thing you got to do is get your DBA, your assumed name certificate is what they call it here in Dallas, and then go online, irs.gov, apply for your nonprofit status, which is 501c3. Once you get that, then you can actually solicit funds from the Walmarts, your local, grocery stores. They're always big on providing $1,000 here, 500 there. Insurance companies, hospitals, uh, because you are working with children, right? They love to be able to help children. They'll just ask you, can you put their logo on your flyers, at the bottom of the flyer, things like that. Local banks, believe it or not, if you approach them, but you got to have that 501c3 certification
Right. That's the tax write off for the corporate
for the
company.
corporation.
Okay, yeah. You talking business now?
Exactly, and allow them to provide your startup funding. You know what I'm saying? We would take our kids. We would do little car washes. We would stand out on the corner, especially when after that first year we had 3 or 4 kids that actually first year of track. We had 3 or 4 kids that actually made it to nationals, and the parents funded that out of their pockets. They took their kids, and Raymond said, "Hey man, next year, man, we got to figure out a way to get our kids there. We have to do it." And I said, "You're right." And so that second year is when we started having organized fundraisers to get our kids to nationals. And we did that every single year because we got into AAU. We dominated AAU. You can go to YouTube, type in West Mesquite Stampede track.
Yeah.
You'll see.
That's what I was gonna get into that with you, cause you kind of told me you sent the link over to me.
I sent the link for the recruiting. I sent the link.
Yeah. I was that's what I was finna get into. I don't know if you still active inside of it or not, but that's a beautiful thing to go with your program. And you was talking about the local banks, your grocery stores, things like that. Is there something that you guys still use
Correct.
25 years later?
Yeah.
25 years later.
Still, we still use that, that system of soliciting, really, but it is some out there who kind of mismanage, their opportunities. So, you have to sell your product that you legit. And fortunately, with us, with the Stampede, like I said the last time that I was on, with y'all, we were different because we never did sell NFL dreams or NBA dreams or pro track dreams or whatever. We was always trying to get our kids to understand, to get that piece of paper, to get that scholarship, that athletics will get you to college so your mom and your pops or you won't be in student loan debt for the rest of your life and everything. And as we can say, and Willie, we can say this, we probably the only team around here in the DFW that can say that we graduate, that a lot of our people graduated college and went on to become professionals, not professionals in sports, but educators.
Yeah, tell them about your 3 boys that came through the program.
Yeah.
Alex,
Alex, Rashawn, and Ryan. Yeah, I went on to get their degrees and educators. Willie's older son, that one who was 6 years old, decided to play football. He went on to go up to Wesleyan College up in Connecticut and to be a D3 All-American in football and in track, and to parlay that into a head coaching job up north. And now,
and don't forget my baby, my daughter, LaShawn Wright. She gained a full track scholarship to Iowa State University. She could have went to any school in the Big 12, but she said she wanted to be the big fish in a small pond. And she had 2 cousins out of Garland who were playing football at Iowa State at the time. So she wanted to go up there and be with them. and she currently is she works for the University of Central Florida as a liaison for the women's track program. She, basically, if they have any,
Man,
personal issues, harassment issues,
that's
stuff, they just need
that's a
somebody to
beautiful.
talk to. That's her job, and she got a master's degree. She's doing her thing. My son, he has his master's as well,
Yeah.
and he's now back in Texas. He just came back a year ago, and but all of these things that our kids are enjoying, Rashawn, he signed with Texas Tech,
Yeah.
full track scholarship out of West Mesquite High School. He ended up transferring over to Henderson State with his brother, and they graduated from Henderson State University.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like,
Man, that's a beautiful.
Yeah.
but
That's a
those
beautiful
things,
thing, man.
but our kids are debt free on all of that.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And
But
that's what our experiences is what we trying to get our parents to be able to share and enjoy as well,
exactly.
which is how I got into helping them with the recruiting. Go
Exactly.
ahead, Raymond.
Now, don't get it twisted. We have had a couple of people to come through our organization who have went on and tryouts in the NFL. They experienced some Eldrick Massington, and everything. So we
And don't forget Jerry Maiden and Jeff
Jared
Wilson.
Mays, yeah,
Jeff is
Mays,
still in the league.
yeah, Buffalo Bills and everything. But we just don't like y'all see that, and that's the main thing. Like I talked about last time. Youth sports now, like when y'all played and when we first started, social media can be a curse and a blessing because everybody think now that their kid is a dog that they gonna make it. I mean, we have people which we have in some programs around here are at 7 and 8 years old. You hear their mamas and their daddies already looking at houses, looking at cars.
Hey man, I got a question in my notes right now.
Yeah,
Right
go ahead.
now, for the both of you, since y'all both deal with the youth, like when you get a kid like that, or not the kid, when you get a parent like that, the kid might not even be good, but they done paid their money for their kid to play, and the kid ain't playing, and the parent come to you, hey, say I want my baby on the field, I need to get my baby on the field. How do you handle that?
Hey, before you answer that,
Go ahead.
let me tell you this.
Okay.
We the only black culture that's like that. You know what I'm saying? We expect our kids to take care of us. We supposed to take care of our kids.
Say that.
Correct.
Come on, boy.
You know what I'm saying? That's the
Come
problem
on,
I
boy.
hate with black folks, man.
Yeah.
We supposed to take care of our kids. Our kids don't supposed to take care of. We supposed to get them to set them up to where they need to go in life. Don't worry about. I don't need no house. I'm cool at my house. What I got right now. You don't got to buy me no new truck. I ride my old truck. Take care of yourself, man. I don't need
for
that.
real.
If you want to give me some, give it to me. But I don't want nothing from you. I want you to be great.
And it's funny that you say that because I heard a story today. I was watching FS1 and they was talking about Jalen Hurts. That he got this multi-million-dollar contract, but he still stay in a $2,000 a month.
Right there in Channelville.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And said his mama still work, his daddy still coaching. And it's like that's unfathomable to some because most parents be like, "I'm quitting. My son rich."
Jackpot.
Excuse me when I say this. That's why we ain't got shit.
You see what I'm saying?
And the white folks, they steady building the generational wealth. They thinking about taking care of the kids. Don't worry about me. I'm good.
Exactly. And we shouldn't put that burden on our kids, man.
Oh man.
We got to teach them how to save, how to invest. How to actually allow that money to make money. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I said, man, and I don't mean to cut you out, Coach.
Yeah.
Drew, and I be on the social media because I'm in the social media lane.
Yeah.
And I heard Kenya Martin say this. Shout out South Oak Cliff, South High School, Kenya Martin. He said, man, until I was a senior in high school, the most money I ever seen was in a Pell Grant check.
What?
Anywhere from $1,200 to $1,500.
Yeah.
My mama ain't never had no car. I ain't never had no car. I'm scraping shoes and clothes. Man, what? Ain't nobody told me, hey, you need to pay your rent before you go out and get these shoes.
Right, right.
And that's not his mama fault. And had
Mhm.
we talked about this on the last episode, it's not his mama fault. How can his mama train him how to handle $1,200 and she ain't never seen it?
Yeah,
She ain't
Right,
never seen
that,
right. That's tough, man. That's tough.
It's and social media, just like you say, Raymond, it's a gift and a curse. And I think it's more of a gift in this generation because you can get a whole bunch of knowledge, bro. You can gain something. These parents got a whole lot of knowledge to get these kids
Mm-hmm.
that your mama didn't have to get to you, or Coach Willie Drew that your mama didn't have to get to you. Through your mama and daddy didn't have that information to get to you, that knowledge to
Right,
get to you. My mama and daddy didn't have that.
right.
So I mean, hey, we can look at it as bad, but it's really, really good, man.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. And speaking of that, you talking about social media. Let's just say the internet as a whole, man.
yeah. Look,
If we had that when we were kids, if we had that, we would have the knowledge that these kids today have. You know what I'm saying? They got a real big advantage.
yeah,
But just like the good comes the
yeah.
bad.
You,
You know
you,
what I'm
you had
saying?
asked a question a while ago,
Yeah.
Tyrone, like, what do we do if a parent come to us thinking their kid is all that and we have to bench them and don't start them? Well, what they mainly do is, it's plenty of organizations up here, around that they'll just try to find an organization that's going to, give them what they want, play their kid. And sometimes people just won't come out and be honest because, like I said, you go on Facebook, you see a lot of these videos drop of these kids. They be like on there, look at my son, ain't he a dog? And you be like, yeah, nah, he all right, but it's like, but they like looking for Jerry to sign them, looking for more Cuban or somebody to sign them. They like right now, man, it's like, and we like now it takes more work than, and that's another reason that most of these cats flame out because we was talking,
Well,
when you get to D1 college or when you get to college, it's a lot of dogs that was, that's there. And if you ain't got
well,
no
But
well. I'm gonna speak in defense of some of the parents. See, that's what me and my brother we good guy bad guy at times. You know what I'm saying? One thing that I've always strived to do is to take that underdog and put the cape on him. And Raymond to tell you, I'll take an average kid and
yeah,
bring that dog out of him. I'll take a kid that everybody else say, oh, he suck. But I'll find what that kid is good at. And I'll use him for that. And all of a sudden, everybody like, oh man, I didn't know he could do that. Um,
you know what that make you?
what's
it. A
that?
a
coach.
coach.
That make you a coach,
A coach.
a good one.
Exactly.
Man,
Exactly.
I remember when I was coaching the Boys and Girls Club.
Mm-hmm.
The boy couldn't shoot a lick. He couldn't dribble. He
Uh-huh.
could, but there's some gonna rebound, and I say, man, pass it to the outlet. That's all I want you to do.
I want you to do.
All of a sudden, his confidence came out of nowhere.
Pass it to
And
Phil.
I said, I said, don't bring it down. Put it back up. Hit that square. Lighten him up. Became one of the best close man to play.
Hey, say, Hag, I'm glad you said that, man.
Hey,
You
and
know,
let me
I went
add,
to the
let me
ball
add
game
this,
last night.
Ty, let me add this though. That's the funny thing is like leading up to when we first coached together, you know, every team that I coached with, somehow we went from last to first. And the room was like, Drew cheating, y'all. When we went to the Longhorns, Drew and Raymond cheating. But what I would do was, if I know I got this set of kids that quote unquote studs, right? Then I would let my coaches work with them. I personally would take the kids that was viewed as scrubs, as bench riders. And my wife used to always say, we don't do scrubs. My wife is a very devout spiritual woman. And she was like, we don't do scrubs. So I would have like a group of 7 or 8 kids who were viewed as useless to other coaches. And I would just do a lot of different drills with them to find out what they could do, what they were good at, and what they needed help with. And when I would bring them back to the pack, oh, they were contributors. So we would take our weakest link. What was Ivy Lee? Well, remember Ivy Lee?
I released little son, stepson. I forget what his name is, but I know you.
He had a son that he brought him to me. We was eight numbers. The boy was tall for an 8-year-old, wasn't he, Raymond? He
Yep.
was tall, but he would run. And he was so uncoordinated that he when he would run and everybody get to the finish line, he would fall. He just didn't know how to stop. So the first thing I had to do was teach him how to run. Teach him how to run. Man, by the end of the season, that dude was a beast, and it was in him because his daddy was Ivory Lee. What's Ivory Lee last name? Played running back for the Cardinals.
Ivory Lee Brown out of Palestine.
Yeah, Ivory Lee Brown.
Okay, yeah, I heard him.
Yeah, and so it's like you. The one thing some of us coaches, one mistake we make is we try to force a kid to do something that they might not necessarily be comfortable with, or it might not just be in a skill set. You know, you got to find what each one of your players got and be able to place them in the proper position on the field. That's another place where coaches fail these kids.
Listening to you guys break down how y'all do y'all players, man. It seemed like, and I know y'all probably pass this down to the coaches that's under y'all or whatever, however y'all do your organization. But just listen to y'all, man. I ain't no coach or nothing, man. I love the game and a fan of the game.
Yeah.
And I can see how people can and know how people can pick people up. So y'all just keep doing that, man. I hope y'all pass that down to y'all coaches on how to work kids and read kids, man. Because
it's not that easy.
I was watching a ball game, man, last night, man. And I was watching some kids that was real athletic. Like I'm talking about they at the cup almost looking in the rim.
Yeah.
But they not confident in their ability to say, man, dunk that on coach.
Mm-hmm.
Go on, take one more dribble and dunk that.
Right.
Like,
right.
Yeah, you can play.
Mm-hmm.
And you know you can play. How do you boost that kid confidence? Like, as far as like, okay, yeah, I know you can play. You know you can play a little bit.
Yeah.
But how do you get that kid to get that confidence to just take all the way out?
Well,
like Rod just said, though. Like Rod just said, you take that kid and you see, oh, he can rebound. Okay, let me encourage that and say, hey, when you get that rebound, you give him his instructions. So a lot of coaches like to yell and all that stuff. And I always tell my coaches, if you're going to yell at a kid, make sure you're yelling instructions. They don't need to hear you say, what are you doing? Because he confused. No, you should be saying, okay, pass it. Okay, dish it. Okay, when you get that ball, keep it up, pass it. You should be yelling instructions. Go ahead, Ryan.
I be like, you know, right there, he gonna put it up.
But before we run out of time here, to go back, what me and this man have always done, coaching football. And going back to the parents and everything, well, you know, the skill positions, the quarterback and the running back. In Pee Wee football, don't nobody want their son to be a center or a guard or nowhere like that. We try to teach the boys on our team, even in flag football, it begins on that line. No matter how cold that boy is back there.
We praise them boys. We give them more credit than we do the running backs.
And y'all know they go all the way up from first year tackle to the NFL, no matter how cold you are, if you ain't got a line. So we make awards. 1 year when I won it on 10 and under, my offensive MVP was my center. Was a center. And you know, but that's another deal that people get mixed up on. That the coaches, when somebody score a touchdown, they'll run on the field and give that running back or that quarterback a big hug. And like the line, it's like there's a stepchild. Like they be looking like, well, what about us, coach? And they be like, nah. They basically get the Heisman, you know, and everything. But we try to teach them.
I play offensive line in Pop Warner, so I know.
You already know. You already know the drill, man.
I'm gonna piggyback on when y'all started that the organization. What was y'all goal? What was y'all main goal? And did y'all feel like y'all exceeded that, or y'all where y'all want to be?
Great question, because this is what happened. we got to talking to our kids about what high school they was gonna go to. Cause I was talking to mine because my daughter went to Mesquite High School, the Skeeters, right? They was 5A was the highest level then. So 5A, they had won a state championship, you know. And I'm like, okay, son, I know you going to Mesquite, right? He's like, nah, Dad. All my friends, we want to go to West Mesquite. But at the time, West Mesquite was trash,
Trash.
y'all. They had
Trash.
they opened in 1984 and they only had one winning season, back in the mid 90s, and they was terrible. And they head coach, Coach Gary Johnson. Hey Gary, I ain't dissing you, dog, but you wasn't right. Okay, he wasn't right.
You know about
So
this.
so what we decided to do, that's why we call it the West Mesquite Stampede. This ain't the Mesquite Stampede. This ain't the North Texas Stampede. It's not the Pleasant Grove Stampede, even though a huge majority of our kids came out of the Grove, right? We were the West Mesquite Stampede in order to uplift that community. And that's one thing I had asked the coach at that first track team that we was with. I said, how come y'all don't recruit over there in West Mesquite? He said, oh man, ain't no talent over there. Ain't nothing over there. It's like, well, we live over there. What do you mean? I was bringing a boatload of kids with me from West Mesquite
So so
to there.
so
And
so
so
man,
when we
do y'all feed?
take that
Do
time
y'all?
when we started the program, we had kids coming from Rowlett, from Garland, from Oak Cliff, from all over to run track with us. We had built a nice reputation. And those kids wanted to play football with us. You know what I'm saying? So as they played together, we would go all over the city, beating up on everybody. Didn't matter. We were beating up on everybody. And so those kids wanted to play together moving on up. So you had parents moving to West Mesquite, y'all. So all of a sudden, when Coach Overton took over the program and our kids started feeding into the program, West Mesquite became a state contender for about 8, 9 years while our kids was going through the
Yeah.
program.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask you. I wasn't trying to cut you off. That's what I
My
was gonna
bad.
ask y'all. Yeah. No, you good. That was me cutting you off. And do y'all program feed West Mesquite High School?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
yes. Our track program, we got quite a few kids that are in the West Mesquite program right now. We just brought the football program back last year,
Mhm.
so is yet to be seen how many of those will end up going on through. But right now, the coaching staff interact with us. Raymond is the Booster Club president
Yeah.
at West Mesquite High
Yeah.
School,
We,
so
we,
he
we,
has a
we,
great relationship with Coach
yeah,
Jackson.
we,
Go
we,
ahead.
we wear the same colors, orange and black, that the high school wears. Now that was the previous coach's deal before Jack got there. But Jack is an excellent deal. We go hand in hand. West Mesquite High School and the West Mesquite Stampede go hand in hand. Together.
And there are 5 high schools in Mesquite. Last year, not this past year, but the year before, was the first year in the history of Mesquite schools that none of the high schools made the playoffs in football. So they ended up replacing the head coach at West Mesquite with Coach Jackson. He was the head coach at Seagoville. I've known his dad for about 15 years. We members of the same church, and so he came in, changed the culture. Him and Raymond worked hand in hand together to help build that culture and get some of those kids that were like borderline, not sure if they want to play. Raymond would get in their ear and hype them up and make them want to play this game.
Yeah.
And so this past year, West Mesquite High School was the only school in Mesquite to make the playoffs. And they went on a nice little playoff run. They lost in the second round,
But
but
they y'all finna say they went 2 rounds deep,
Yeah,
didn't
yeah,
it?
went.
correct.
But they won more games this year than the past 4 years, 4 or 5 years together because it was two
Combined.
2-8 seasons, 3-7 seasons, 1-9.
Say, man, that's enough. I done been a part of all of them.
Yeah,
That shit ain't funny.
this is
Hey,
But
hey,
That
but
ain't funny, man. Y'all steady laughing. That ain't
but
funny.
we're looked at as representatives of the West Mesquite community, and we are proud members and representatives of the West Mesquite community. So our goals have always been to help fortify the school and then help those kids then get on into college.
Because they are also student athletes. West Mesquite is little known. They've always had a great GPA, a great test scoring schools, and had a lot of that had a lot of people. Like I said, that high school has gotten actors, country singers, reality people. Had Trey played the NFL for a little while. You know, it's a great school. It's what we try to tell these people being a part of the Stampede program growing up to be a wrangler, because that's the mascot for West Mesquite. You know, is a wrangler. You know, it is a great deal. We bring that East Texas. That's what Willie's saying about that East Texas flavor over here to West Mesquite, you know, the West Side, to see how the games were on Friday night. Everybody in the community, that this just wasn't, you know, no act, man. You know, we was real. You know, with the
and I'm gonna give my brother a lot of credit, because you know, he's viewed as part of the coaching staff. He's on the sidelines with the staff on game day. You know, and a lot of people, you know, don't understand that back when we started Stampede, if I would get a call, hey Drew, from the Mesquite ISD, you know, hey, we have an issue at the field, we need to talk to you about, I would just call Raymond, and Raymond would say, okay, well, let me go down there. So for the last 20 plus years, he's been the only one going in there. I wasn't going in the office down there. Raymond was the one, and I never had a reason to step over him and go down there. Let me go talk to the athletic director myself. You know what I'm saying? Raymond got him on speed dial. Cody Groves, great man, and he actually confides in both of us and asks our opinion. I mean, the one thing that I put in his ear a couple years ago is that if y'all want to compete, y'all got to do what they do at Lancaster, DeSoto, Duncanville, Cedar Hill. They have open enrollment campuses. And he was like, really? I was like, yeah, they got open enrollment. Well, guess what happened last year? Mesquite went open enrollment. So, you know, it's a matter of competing, and he listens to us in what we feed him. But like I said, Raymond was able to build a friendship with that guy. The Mesquite Parks and Recreation Department, Raymond used to work for the city of Mesquite. So he's got a great relationship with the city manager, with all of these different people. And I don't step on his toes, you know? So he's been able to cultivate these relationships over the years. And this is important, guys. You cannot burn bridges. Never. You never know who.
Hey, say man, I appreciate that, man, because everything we do is based off relationships, man. Relationships are way more important than money, bro.
Boy, relationships, they are money.
Yeah.
I mean, you put the equal sign next to that dollar sign with relationships, man.
Hey, man, just take you guys. Take you guys. This is based off relationships.
Yeah.
What me and Three doing is based off a relationship.
And I'm gonna tell you something that's funny. I've had about 4 or 5 different duos who have come to me and said, Drew, we want to be like you and Raymond, man. We want to be like you and Raymond. We want to be like you and Raymond. And it's like, my question to them is, this is a special friendship right here. This is my brother, right? Do we agree on everything? Nah.
No.
We argue sometimes, don't we, Raymond?
Yeah.
You know, couple weeks ago, we was at level 10.
Yeah.
But we don't do it in public. We don't never do it in public.
But I also, just like he's saying, this special friendship, to knowing, you heard him talk about, you know, his mom. I've been to his mom's funeral. He's been to my mother's funeral. He's been to my father's funeral. He's been to my son's funeral. He's also came down to Wasco on some good occasions, you know, to our birthday get-togethers and stuff like that. So this is family. I done been, you know, to his family. So this goes beyond just, you know, on the field, and then you go back home, and then you hook up on the field at practice. I see you at practice,
most definitely,
you know, and everything. This is, like I said, we you know, we family. Our friendship has built over these, you know, years, and you know, and that's another thing that keeps the organization going, because not one. I don't care what nobody say. Not one person can build a great organization by himself. They're gonna have to have somebody in the corner to go along. It's too hard out there. You know.
And the number
Everybody needs somebody.
and the number one cause of failure in these youth organizations that we've seen come and go over these years is that same two people. All of a sudden, one of them head get a little big.
Fall out. Yeah.
One of them might feel like the other one getting a little too much credit.
Yeah.
Ego.
Ego.
And that's something that never would ever get in the way with me and him. When he get his props, I'm with
I'm
it.
fine.
When I get my
Hey,
props,
rock out 3.
you know,
Hey, say man, we feed off each other, man.
Yeah.
Hey,
But see, Ty, you don't want nobody to come in your ear and like say, man, I watched the show, but boy, hey man, you might go solo. I mean, man, do you really need?
Hey, say, man, I need my guy just like my guy need me.
Exactly,
that part.
but
And you can't never ever let anybody because people from the outside will try to come between y'all. It's happening, ain't it, Raymond? Over and over.
it does, and it don't mean that they really hating on Rod or somebody. They just be like, man, you know, you can do something by your own, but
They really, say, man, they really just be hating anyway.
they do.
Yeah.
And they ain't gonna
Hey,
do
what
nothing.
that boy Mo 3 say? Don't tell me what nobody said, because people just be talking. Yeah.
That's what it is.
Exactly. So
Hey,
yeah. So that's that.
About
Those
to run out of time, but
Yeah.
let me get this question out the way, and then we gonna, you know what I'm saying, gonna say our last words. Since y'all do the youth, I know that, you know what I'm saying, we do, but you got any advice for 25 and up, you know what I'm saying, for these youngsters that you can come off hand that you didn't experience that you want to say, get some off your chest that maybe you can cross your mind?
when you say a 25 and up, just advice for them.
Yes.
Just I mean, are we talking sports? We talking life? What we talking?
Life.
I'm gonna say this. You know, live your life. You know, a lot of times people are in perpetual planning of one day I'm gonna do this. You know, they dreamers. You know, and it's okay to dream, but at the end of the day, y'all enjoy the moment right this minute, right now, because when it's gone, it's gone. And and what you were saying about, you know, being able to, you know, generational wealth, you know, always try to find ways to be able to generate funds. One thing that a black man in America has always had to have, y'all, is a side hustle of some type. You know, what you guys are doing with this podcast, you never know what could happen with it. You know what I'm saying? You do this because you enjoy it. But a wise man once told me is that the best job that you could ever work in your life is the one that you create for yourself.
There you go. Hey, and I want
Raymond?
to piggyback on that, but Rod, not necessarily saying for a 25-year-old, but I'm gonna lay out for that 14 or 15 through 18-year-old in high school right there. Willie had brought up that when he was a teenager, a freshman, he had to work because of, you know, the home circumstances. I advise these parents and these kids, if you don't have to work in high school, man, enjoy your teenage years because you will never get them back. You know, working for these ones who try to do sports and work a job. Y'all know it's hard, you know, to do that. But unless you have to, I'm not saying don't work during the summer, but I'm talking about during the school year where you might miss a period of athletics because you got to leave and go out because you got to go to the job that you really don't need. You just, you know, having that little spending, you know, money. Enjoy your teenage years because you will never get them back. And as a young adult too, just like Willie was picking back on. But
You know,
when you get from 1 to 18, it's gonna seem like it take 40 years. But y'all know when y'all hit that 19, 20 to however else, that roll by just like that, man. You like you 20, then you look up, you 40. Then you look up, like
yeah.
I said, man, I'm 55 with the 7. And it just seemed like you know, yesterday that I was in my
Let me add one thing, Raymond, to that, to piggyback on what you were saying. You know, what he was addressing was that you have I'll say my son, he wanted to work a job so bad, but I told him, son, your job is to be ready to play on this football field and on that track and get your grades. That's your job. You got plenty of time to work the rest of your life, son. Because we were doing well. We didn't need the additional help. You know what I'm saying? We were in a great situation. But I'm gonna say this, and I mean this, from the bottom of my heart to everybody out there, is that when your child gets ready to get into that college, you know, going from high school to college, a lot of people sit back and they wait on their high school coach to get their son in the college. The coach gonna get my son a scholarship. Well, it's not in his job description, first of all, and when it doesn't happen, it's probably the most disappointing thing I've ever seen. I've seen grown people cry because my son slaved for 4 years for this coach and he didn't do nothing for him. And it's like, but what did you do? Because parents, understand, you can call every single college on the book. I mean, when my son when I was trying to get him into college, I'm calling athletic directors. I'm emailing them. I'm looking up their websites. I'm looking at their rosters. Oh, they're going to need a running back. I'm hitting up their athletic directors and I'm sending my son's film to them, and I would get positive feedback. I wouldn't ask them for a scholarship. I would ask them for their evaluation of his film, and they would give me their honest feedback. And one of the things that I learned along the way is that, and Raymond, you learned it too, is that we end up getting our kids into college situations and the head coaches didn't have no knowledge of it.
Dang.
When my daughter signed with Iowa State, her head track coach, we was walking in the building with the newspaper with us, finna go take these pictures, sign day, and her head coach walked up and said, well, hello, Mr. Wright, because her last name was Wright, LaShawn Wright. I'm Drew, but her last name is Wright. So it was like, hello, Mr. Wright, what are y'all doing here? And I said, my daughter's getting ready to sign her letter of intent. She said, oh, where are you going? And the whole track team was following us going, Miss Milton, you don't know? You don't know? She's like, no. And then my daughter told her, I'm signing with Iowa State University. She said, really? She said, who set that up? And she says, my dad. You see what I'm saying? This is back in 2005, 6. Okay. And so with that knowledge of understanding that, and I did the same thing with my son. My son ended up with 21 Division I scholarship offers, from Oregon State, Colorado,
Baylor.
University of Houston, and Baylor. They offered him preferred walk-ons. They didn't have money because he was a kind of a late bloomer. But the point of the matter is, you can do so much more for your kid. We know a parent who let her son do all that heavy lifting and all that work. And she was criticizing me and Raymond, saying that y'all doing too much for y'all kids. You got to empower your kids. And it's like, no, this is too important. You know what I'm talking about, Raymond?
Exactly.
Get involved with your kids in that whole process of getting them to college. Don't just depend on them to do it themselves, because they're going to eventually just drop the ball. We done seen that a bunch of times, y'all. So that's what I got to offer y'all. But understand, every single kid can get a paid for college education by using their athletic gift. And I say gift because it didn't come from us. That athletic gift came from God.
What you got, Five?
Hey man, really, the advice I can give a 25-year-old man, I just think back and look at my life. Say, man, if you want to be grown,
Mm-hmm.
just know consequences come with every decision.
Woo.
And be willing to take the consequence that come with your decision, because we can make the decision. We can't make the consequence.
You got to deal with it.
And that's probably the realest thing I done said in about a month or so.
I'm gonna say, save your money because it might save you.
Yes, sir. Yes.
And get off your mama couch, man. Don't be a couch warrior. Raw dog is out. Chee.